हेलो 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 हेलो। चलो भाई, कंटिन्यू करते हैं दी आउटर वर्ल्ड्स। कल स्ट्रीम करी थी इसकी, जिसमें मैंने बस गेम को ज़्यादातर समझाई था, साइड स्टोरीज करी थी। तो आज मेन स्टोरी करने वाला हूँ मैं स्टार्ट। मतलब मेन स्टोरी हमने छोड़ दी थी ना लास्ट में, तो वहीं से कंटिन्यू करेंगे। चलो भाई, देखते हैं क्या सीन है क्या नहीं आज की स्ट्रीम में। अच्छा, लास्ट में मैंने इनको बोल दिया था ना कि वहाँ पे चले जाओ एज वाटर। ठीक है ठीक है। पॉइंट्स क्या बढ़ाऊँ? ये बढ़ा लेता हूँ। टैग बढ़ा लेता हूँ। पर्क भी है एक, वॉक स्पीड।
One of us want to go see what happened?
क्या स्ट्रेंजर स्ट्रेंज लैंड। चलो भाई, मुझे ये दे दो, मेरा काम बन गया, तुम जाओ बाढ़ में।
Look at that. The snakes come back. Good for them. I'm glad. Back to the old cannery with Grace and Thomas and Stefan and all the others. I expected it'd end like this. Lived out here for years all by my lonesome. Only right that I'd die the same way. I expect you've done enough for the Vale. If you don't mind leaving an old lady with her thoughts, I'd be much obliged. It is too late, and I'm tired of talking.
ये बुढ़िया जाएगी नहीं भाई, यहीं मरेगी अब अकेली ही। चलो क्या ही कर सकते हैं। अच्छा, शिप पे जाने से पहले यहाँ जाता हूँ ना, ये रिटर्न रीड। शिप पे जाऊँगा तो मैं निकल ही जाऊँगा फिर यहाँ से। फास्ट ट्रेवल, बात करनी पड़ेगी रीड से ना, ताकि कोई दिक्कत दिक्कत ना हो। हेलो ग्रैंड ट्रैक्स, वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम, बिग फैन। अबे वे मार क्यों रहे हैं मुझे? बहुत बढ़िया भाई। एक तो इनकी मैंने बिजली कुछ वो करवाया, तो मेरे को ही मार रहे हैं। हेलो लेजेंड फैज ब्रो, वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम। कैसे हो भाई? भाई कल तुम्हें सजल की मेंबरशिप मिली है गिफ्टेड। अच्छा सजल भाई की। अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा। अच्छा आप वहीं से ही हो क्या? बढ़िया है बढ़िया है। कोई नहीं, स्ट्रीम पे आऊँगा मैं तो थैंक यू बोलूँगा भाई को। एंड थैंक यू फॉर सब्सक्राइबिंग ऑल्सो। चलो यार ये रीड टॉपसन से बात करनी पड़ेगी
This is a
थोड़ी।
fine day, friend. Power flows through our town like a cool stream of water. I trust Adelaide's people have seen their way to reason. So, when can I expect them back at their posts?
एडिलेड तो आएगी नहीं वापस, और उसके फॉलोअर आ जाएंगे।
Go ahead.
We need to have a word about this plague. You seem pretty fixed on bringing Adelaide back to town.
Adelaide was our only flavor specialist. We are a Saltuna canning institution.
एडिलेड
Saltuna
ने
without flavor is
जंगल भी तो
like
खड़ा
a
कर दिया था
cysty
वहाँ पे
pig without
बोटेनिकल
tumors,
लैब में।
borderline inedible.
बॉर्डरलाइन इनएडिबल। साल्टूना साल्टूना मछली ही है मेरे ख्याल से इनकी कोई। विदाउट फ्लेवर इज लाइक अ क्रिस्टी पिग विदाउट ट्यूमर्स। हैं ये क्या होता है भाई?
Begging your pardon, Saltuna is a staple in the diet of any self-respecting spacer. Were it up to me, friend, I'd stack our larders with Saltuna galore. No
गलती
other
कर दी
brand of
मेरे को ना,
Saltuna adds as much
बिजली ना
vim or
उसके
vigor to the
बोटेनिकल
body
लैब
as
में
you.
डालनी चाहिए थी,
But, and this is
इसमें डाल
something
दी।
we must keep between the two of us.
पर फिर इनका टाउन
Saltuna is
डेवलप हो रखा है,
organic,
अगर मैं पूरे टाउन
one
की
with
बिजली ले
being
लेता फिर
species
तो भाई
indigenous to the seas of another world.
इनको स्टार्टिंग से स्टार्ट करना पड़ता फिर से सब।
A vegetable? You mean like hydrocale? Chewy, fibrous material that springs out of the dirt? I do not trust any food that grows out of the dirt. Worms
वाह,
copulate in the dirt.
सिर्फ मछलियाँ ही खाते हैं
Did
भाई ये
you
लोग।
know that?
So what are you canning?
Oh, we've scavenged together some organic material from the surrounding environs. Mostly organic, mostly local mushrooms. Some of which possess a texture akin to a well-boiled slab of Saltuna. The difference is all but impossible to detect to any but the prissiest of palate.
Texture akin to a well-boiled slab of saltuna. अच्छा,
Go ahead. Can we not? Talking about unpleasant things always gets my bile up.
भाई मछली मछली खाते रह रहे हो भाई, प्लेग तो फैलेगा ही। How long has this plague been happening?
That I cannot say. There was no moment when the plagues began. Disease always lurks on the fringes of society, waiting to infect the idle and the lethargic. But in the last 10 years, the plagues have become progressively worse and increasingly frequent.
You should have developed an immunity after repeated exposure to a single strain of contagion. यूज़ करूँ क्या इसको? मेडिकल 16, मेडिकल के मेरे 16 पॉइंट चले जाएंगे मतलब? भाई इसका तो मतलब ही नहीं पता ना मेरे को, क्या 16 पॉइंट जाएंगे या क्या सीन है। Things have been going badly for these last few years. Everyone gets sick. You don't have to add all the spirit.
Corporate doesn't like us using the word should. It encourages the imagination. I believe plague is a test. It is a test of our loyalty and our fortitude. And it is one we will see through to the end.
You withhold medicine from your own workers.
If I had enough medicine to treat everyone who fell sick, I would, but I don't. I can't save everyone. So I have to choose.
You let Adelaide's son die. That can't be easy for you. That's monstrous. Adelaide's son die. अच्छा हाँ, उस बुढ़िया का बेटा मर गया था ना इस वजह से, तो सिक हो गया था, इसने दवाई नहीं दी थी।
Adelaide's son was barely competent. I treat him with our medical rations, and it looks like I'm playing favorites. Now, I will not pretend to understand the suffering Adelaide must have felt on account of losing her child, but she is not the only one to have felt such suffering. I wish she had stayed with us. Adelaide left us when we needed her most. I appreciate what you've done for us. That's good enough for me. Adelaide and I have a history. Was unlikely she'd ever come back. But hope springs eternal. We are in your debt. I am
चलो
authorizing
भाई,
you
इसका
for a
मिशन हो गया।
discount on all official Spacer's Choice products, courtesy of the people of Edgewater. By all means.
Oh, you have your workers back. What happens now? I'm at a worker by the name of Thomas, says he wants to be an engineer.
Thomas Kemp? I remember him. Had to write him up for daydreaming a few too many times.
You should give him a chance. He's a decent mechanic.
He tries real hard, Mr. Thompson. This is something he wants to do. That'll make him twice as good.
I will give him a chance to impress me. If he knows his way around a toolbox, I may have a place for him in the Holcomb workshop. This whole fiasco is not one I am keen on repeating. I was too hard on my own workers. I pushed them to their breaking point. With more hands at the cannery, I expect productivity will rise. I expect we'll grow. And I expect I can ask corporate to send us some more medicine. We'll survive, one way or another.
चलो भाई, लेवल 7। ये वाला OST बढ़िया लगता है मेरे को, ये बजाते हैं। हो गया ना इसका सीन रीड टॉपसन का।
I think you did the rightest thing you could sending the power back to Edgewater. A lot of people would have suffered otherwise. People I care for, even if they ain't care much for me.
अब भी मेरे साथ चलेगी? चल रही है भाई। ये बाहर है भाई, बाहर है, बाहर जाना पड़ेगा। एक मिनट, ये कौन सा मिशन लग गया? अच्छा यही वाला लगा है ना, ठीक है। टनननननन। अभी तो कोई बॉस फाइट भी नहीं आई भाई। डायलॉग ज़्यादा वाली गेम है ये। फास्ट ट्रैवल। अरे हॉस्टाइल कहाँ है? यहाँ से हो जाएगा। चलो भाई पहुँच गए। वो पुलिस ऑफिसर कहाँ गई? मरवरा तो नहीं गई?
Is this your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome. Does she have a name yet? What's her drive model? Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed of flying on a real ship, working on a real engine, belonging to a proper crew. I'm the only decent mechanic Edgewater's got, but every time I think of going back, I get this sinking feeling.
I can understand not wanting to go back. You've never been on a ship before. Those people in Edgewater need you.
Well, it's kind of you to say that. And you're right. I wasn't happy. I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But can I come with you?
आजा भाई आजा.
I could tend to your engine.
अपनी
I
क्रू
know
में एक
my
लड़की तो
G-valves
चाहिए
for my
भाई.
catalyzers, and I can keep your ship singing. And if you ever need a pair of eyes
सिंगिंग नहीं
watching your
डांस
back,
करके दिखाइयो
I
मुझे
can
तू.
do that too. What do you think?
आजा आजा. You just met me. Why would you want to go into space with a stranger?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Edgewater was on the verge of collapse before you showed up. You sent them power, and now the town might see another season. You didn't know those deserters a thing, but you helped them anyway. Made sure they had a home to come back to. You ain't
और अभी
exactly a
भाई
stranger
कैसन
anymore.
बा?
You've done some kindness hereabouts.
नूब.
I wouldn't
कैसी
mind
है ये
following
गेम?
somebody like that.
गेम तो अच्छी है. अभी तो मैं स्टार्टिंग में ही हूँ भाई. अभी तक तो मैं जिस प्लेनेट पे आया था ना, जिस प्लेनेट में मेरे को फेंका गया था, मैं उसी से ही नहीं निकला अभी. क्योंकि मैं साइड मिशंस भी करने में लगा हुआ था कल. साइड मिशंस पेल दिए मैंने सारे. और इसमें डायलॉग्स इतने सारे हैं ना, डायलॉग्स तो भर भर के भाई, भर भर के. तो मेरे को डायलॉग्स में बहुत टाइम लग जा रहा है सोचने में कि भाई क्या डायलॉग लूँ क्या ना लूँ. उसी हिसाब से फिर स्टोरी आगे बढ़ रही है, समझ रहे हो. तो गेम तो अच्छी है. मास इफेक्ट जैसी है क्या? मास इफेक्ट मैंने खेली नहीं तो मुझे पता नहीं. मास इफेक्ट का मुझे पता नहीं. ये गेम आरपीजी है, आरपीजी गेम है. आरपीजी स्पेस गेम, समझ रहे हो. आरपीजी जैसे तुम्हारी विचर हो गई, विचर 3, असासिन क्रीड उड़ीसी खेली थी, वो भी आरपीजी है तुम्हारी ऐसे. हाँ इंग्लिश डायलॉग्स है ना. टाइम लगेगा तुझे. अरे भाई इंग्लिश डायलॉग्स की बात नहीं है भाई. हिंदी डायलॉग्स किसमें होते हैं? वाह भाई, मैंने इतनी सारी आरपीजी गेम्स खेली हैं, किसी में हिंदी डायलॉग था. इंग्लिश डायलॉग की बात नहीं है भाई. अब तुम किसी बंदे को रिप्लाई दोगे तो भाई सोचने में तो टाइम लगेगा ना. अब अगर मैंने उसको मैंने अच्छी तरीके से बात करी तो अलग इम्प्रेशन पड़ेगा उस पर. मैंने बुरे तरीके से बात पड़ी, उस पर अलग तरह का इम्प्रेशन पड़ेगा, समझ रहे हो. तो मैं सोच समझ के अपने वर्ड्स पिक करता हूँ ताकि कुछ उल्टा सीधा ना हो जाए. ये नहीं कि कुछ भी बटन दबा दिया चलो आगे चलते रहो, आगे चलते रहो. भाई फुल डेप्थ में जाता हूँ मैं. अब जैसे पूछ रहे, यू एंट एग्जैक्टली अ स्ट्रेंजर एनीमोर, यू डन सम काइंडनेस हियर अबाउट्स, आई वुडंट माइंड फॉलोइंग समबडी लाइक दैट. आजा भाई फिर मेरे क्रू में. यू रियली वांट आउट ऑफ एजवाटर दैट बैडली.
Yeah,
एजवाटर से
do.
निकलना ही चाहती है ये.
my whole life's been small. I realized that when you walked into town. I've been seeing the same faces every day, the same sky, the same stars. Then I saw this ship. This gorgeous, stately lady with her eyes turned skyward, and I made up my mind to come
अच्छा
along
अब
with you.
खेल नहीं तो ये भी 50 स्ट्रीम में ख़त्म करेगा. बड़ी गेम है भाई ये भी. इसको भी मेरे ख्याल से असासिन क्रीड जितना ही टाइम लग जाएगा जितना उसमें लग गया था. इसका यूट्यूब पे वॉक थ्रू 16-17 घंटे का है. और सोचो वो जो वॉक थ्रू अपलोड करते हैं वो काट पीट के अपलोड करते हैं, तो टाइम तो लगेगा ही इसको खेलने में. पर ये अगर स्टोरी अच्छी होगी तो खेलने में मज़ा क्यों नहीं आएगा, मज़ा तो आएगा ही. आ जाओ पेलू एडी से आपको. ओ हाँ लाइव आना भूल गया, मिलते हैं. वाह भाई, लाइव आना भी भूल जाते हैं आजकल लोग. सही है सही है.
Yes! I mean, thanks. You won't regret this, mister.
लोगों के मन में भय पैदा कर दूंगा.
I can call you Captain now. I got a captain.
कैप्टन, तू मेरे प्राइवेट कैबिन में रहेगी बस, तभी कैप्टन बोलेगी तू मुझे. चलो अबे ये अच्छा ये तो विकर है.
I certainly am looking forward to
भाई मुझे लगा
flying
एलियन
with
सा
the
खड़ा हुआ
the
है.
unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room.
यहाँ तो कुछ नहीं है ना. अरे टॉक करने का ऑप्शन नहीं आ रहा.
have detected that Edgewater's power supply is now optimal. I applaud your willingness to invest your time in the local community.
चल चल अब
What can I
रेगुलेटर
do
लगा.
for you, Captain?
लोल एडी आ गया टेकन 8 में डीएलसी. डीएलसी में आया एडी. ये क्या सीन है? एडी तो मेन होना चाहिए था भाई.
Do you know how to install a power regulator?
कर सकता हूँ वैसे मैं इंजीनियरिंग 25. कैन यू वॉक मी थ्रू इट?
Outstanding, Captain. Your aptitude for engineering will prove invaluable in the event of another catastrophic engine failure. Our engine room is located behind you, across the cargo bay, up the ladders.
ठीक है. अच्छा मेरे को ये देखना है कि मेरे वो जा रहे हैं क्या इससे. एक मिनट. नहीं जा तो नहीं रहे. स्किल्स 10 मिल गए ना मेरे को. ये बढ़ा देता हूँ. टेक लीडरशिप बढ़ा लो. $100 मिली. अनलॉन्ग टीटीडी. हैंडगन्स में क्या? क्रिटिकल डैमेज. हम्म. भाई अभी बात नहीं कर पा रहा मैं इससे. चल पड़ी भाई. भाई इतने से में फॉल डैमेज हो गया.
What can I do for you, Captain? All systems are operating within acceptable parameters. I am prepared to bring the unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight capabilities.
चलो भाई. अपन ने सारे साइड मिशन के लिए इस प्लेनेट की अब कोई दिक्कत नहीं है इस प्लेनेट में. उड़ गई शिप. अगेंस्ट ऑल ऑड्स द अनरिलायबल टेक्स फ्लाइट. अच्छा शिप का नाम है द अनरिलायबल.
We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
फिनियस वेल्स वही है ना जिसने हमको भेजा था.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you.
Get to the point. I've been feeling a little lightheaded. Also I can slow down time. Never been better.
Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right.
हमारा कैरेक्टर भी होप
You
कॉलोनी
need
का
to
ही
get
है.
to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me. help us find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Culkelly, lovely
Speak
woman,
to Gladys
runs a
on the
cozy little black
Groundbreaker.
marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay.
Fine, I'll go have a word with Gladys. Why do I need a nav key to land on a planet? Slow down, you're asking me to get involved with the black market, or I could put a couple light years between me and Halcyon. Can't I land somewhere outside Stellar Bay?
Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can
अच्छा,
get
Gladys
you key to
लड़की है.
Monarch, it's her. Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lawless. You'll love it. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Culkelly. In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, I suppose you might survive the experience. Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly aggressive creatures, more than capable of tearing you limb from limb. You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient signs of insanity. Trust me, talk to Gladys Culkelly.
What's stopping me from just leaving Halcyon?
Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead before you make it to the nearest star. Look, I admire your optimism, but the sad truth is you're stuck here. You, me, and the rest of this colony. We're all skating precariously around the edge of oblivion together. None of us are leaving Halcyon alive, so we may as well make it a better place, and we can start by reviving the hope. Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology years ahead of its time. I call it the holographic shroud. I'm
Retrieve
sure
the
it will prove
holographic shroud.
remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters. Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The shroud changes the user's appearance to mimic that of another.
अच्छा.
It has limits. First-generation technology, you see, but promising. Exciting to see it in use at last. Very simply, the holographic shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to generate a holographic projection around you.
You mentioned this thing has limitations. People actually fall for this.
Ha 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 ha! The beauty is they don't expect it. The shroud is the only one of its kind. We humans have a tendency to overlook the unexpected. Activate the disguise, walk past someone. What do they see? A figure dressed like a fellow employee. Don't act odd. They won't focus on you. Only stands up to a casual scrutiny. Use it too long, bound to flicker, blur, something like that. Movement makes it more
अच्छा.
likely.
तो मतलब भागने
Best
पे हो
used in
सकता है.
moderation. When you see guards in your path you can't sneak past, for example.
Oh.
Maintain your distance. Act normal. No running, no jumping. Don't draw their attention. If they pay attention, they're more likely to notice flaws in the hologram.
समझ गया.
A change of clothes. What is this? Some old spy serial? What inattentive and brainless guard would be fooled by such a shabby disguise? The holographic shroud masks not only your clothes, but your face and fingerprints. It modulates your voice and sweetens your breath. Science, that's how. Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, please select a destination on your navigation terminal.
नेविगेशन टर्मिनल। अच्छा ये, इससे पहले कैप्टन क्वार्टर्स दिखाओ भाई मुझे। होलोग्राफ, अच्छा ऊपर है। Adelaide's deserters dreamed of an independent life without board oversight. You taught them an important lesson: never dream. भाई गलती कर दी। अच्छा ये यही बोर्ड है क्या? स्पेसर्स स्पेसर्स चॉइस बोर्ड है मेरे ख्याल से, है? ठीक है। Weapons from the void. Acquire finish sensor. Acquire sensor. अब ये जो श्राउड मिला है मेरे को, कहाँ से यूज होगा ये? कहाँ पे है भाई श्राउड? ये रहा, क्वेस्ट आइटम है। अरे भाई फिनियस लैब ग्राउंड ब्रेकर जाना है ना मुझे। टेरा 2 मैं पहले कहाँ पे था? यहाँ पे था क्या? पता नहीं भाई कौन से प्लेनेट पे था मैं। यहाँ जानना अपने को तो ग्राउंड ब्रेकर। वेलकम टू द सिस्टम मैप।
Groundbreaker has approved our request for docking, Captain. You're free to disembark.
Hey, Cap. Can we talk? Hey, Captain. I heard that Groundbreaker's got a real good engineer. A lady named Junlei Tennyson. I was thinking that maybe I ought to meet her. If you got time to swing us by, I mean. I don't got much experience fixing actual spaceships.
Introduce
Bet
Parvati
you
to
can't enforce
Junlei
the beams,
Tennyson.
she could teach me all manner of stuff. I abso-surely can. I'm a passing fair mechanic. Even Mr. Thompson would have said it's my only skill. But I'm used to working on cannery lines, AG loaders and the like. There's tricks about ships I ain't learned yet. All I'm looking for is a few pointers. I bet a lady who runs a whole station has forgot more than I ever learned. Gosh, no, Captain. I aim to stay so long as I'm welcome. I figured Junlei and I could confabulate over wireless or by message. And maybe when we put into Groundbreaker, I could stop by to visit her sometimes. But only when you don't need me with you. Thanks, Captain. I'll be sure to make it worth your time. Did you want to talk about something else? What? You want me to leave? Captain, you can't mean it.
अरे भाई इसको मैं हटा सकता हूँ ना भाई.
Oh, that's a relief. Thanks, Captain.
भाई
for
मुझे लगा
letting
ये
me stick
चली
around.
जाएगी.
I mean,
गलत डायलॉग ले लिया था भाई. चाहिए तू मुझे अभी. Party selection. Select up to 2 companions to accompany you. अच्छा 2 ही तो है मेरे पास. अच्छा तो सारे कंपेनियन रख सकता हूँ वहाँ. यो हेलो ऋतिक भाई, कैसे हो? वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम. क्या हाल चाल? अबे भाई ये कैमरा इतना ऊपर क्यों था? भाई अब ये दोनों मेरे साथ
Smells like
चलेंगे.
grease and unwashed bodies, just as I remembered. Captain, if I could trouble you for a moment of your time, while
बता
we're
बता
on
अब
the
तेरा हो गया काम है.
groundbreaker, I may have an idea for how we could find a translator.
Translator? You know somebody who can read the book?
I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosopher scholar who fled Terra 2 some years ago. He's an expert on Bakonu. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If anyone in this colony could translate that book, it would be him.
अच्छा मैं बढ़िया, तुम बताओ. बस हम भी बढ़िया. छुट्टियों के फुल मज़े ले रहे हैं. यही 10-15 दिन की छुट्टी मिली है, फुल निचोड़ दूंगा छुट्टियों को. That sounds like a good lead, but how do we find him? That seems like a bit of a long shot. What makes you so sure? Seriously, only one can translate French.
The only one I'm aware of. I suppose we could always just ask random passers-by if they are fluent in it.
अच्छा
Fortunately, we're in the perfect place to start. This is where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place to pick up a ride to Hephaestus, Scylla, even Monarch.
चाहे तीनों planet हैं.
All I need is access to a data cartridge
Locate
from
a
the
security terminal on the
Their
ground breaker.
easily hackable system keeps a registry of all crew manifests for both arrivals and departures.
How will a crew manifest help us track down your scholar friend?
I'll comb the last 6 months of departure manifests to track the Philosophist's off-world destination.
काफी तगड़ा दिमाग है भाई इसमें. How is it that a simple vicar happens to be such a highly skilled hacker?
Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain secular skills during my years serving a particular penitentiary flock. I meditated, led sermons, provided guidance to the inmates as needed, of course. I also played prison yard
मैं तो
tossball
PS5 के
and
मजे ले
taught
रहा
myself a
हूँ.
bit
अरे
about
बढ़िया भाई
Computronic
बढ़िया.
security systems.
PS5 हो तो क्या ही चाहिए. और आराम से हाई क्वालिटी में गेम खेलो बैठ के. सही है सही है.
Thank you, Captain.
चलो भाई. एक मिनट. कौन कौन से क्वेस्ट मिल गए मेरे को? कंपेनियन क्वेस्ट, साइड क्वेस्ट.
That's not the point. This halfwit just knocked out one of my workers.
ये कौन है?
Yeah.
Hey,
Felix.
no offense, but I don't think this walking salt tuna can's gonna appreciate you interrupting.
Keep talking, Millstone. See what happens. Now's not a good time. I'm dealing with a problem here.
So, go space yourself. Problem solved.
You must really want it trunching through your teeth.
Relax, let me talk to the kid.
Do what you want. I'm done here.
Whatever you heard, it's all true. I had this foreman, right? Guy never liked me, always trying to get a rise out of me. But I keep my chin up, right? Be the bigger man, I tell myself. He's a Spacer's chosen man, though. So when the Chosen beat my Rangers the other night, my foreman comes swaggering up with his head full of boasting. That's when I broadsided him with a tossball stick. Yeah. Look, this was a long time coming. Guy thinks he can push me around because he's some sky-high foreman, and I'm just a back bay's dock worker. Well, former dock worker. Guess I just tendered my resignation. Enjoy my freedom. Scrounged together enough bits for a 0G. Other than that, can't say as I do. Hey, not for nothing, but I saw you wander out of that ship over there by the dock. Wouldn't happen to be yours, would it?
Technically, the previous captain died in a horrible accident.
Oh, just musing is all. Must be nice having the run of the colony. Never being anchored to one place, always chasing some horizon. Hey, I don't want to tuck your ears off, guessing you got places to be. I appreciate your time. Felix Millstone. Pleased to make your acquaintance. See you around, boss.
भाई इसको मैं अपनी
Going for a
क्रू में ले
stroll
सकता
around the
हूँ?
docking base?
भाई अब डायलॉग ही नहीं आ रहे.
Mechanicals all over, but they still got us sweating to move by.
Steve
Gonna head to
Dorr.
Paris for whiskey and darts. Maybe not in that order.
Huh? Move along.
स्टीव डोर कोई पोस्ट है क्या इनकी? सब कुछ स्टीव डोर ही लिखा है.
Customs and inspection, right this way.
वेंडिंग मशीन इस पे सेल कर दो कुछ. जंक. होल्ड Z टू सेल जंक. कर दिया भाई सेल. ये भी सेल कर दो. और कुछ है टूटा हुआ? ये क्या है? एनर्जी सेल.
Identification, please.
Present Hawthorne's ID. My name's Sire. It's my first time here. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, I don't have an idea what happens then.
Everybody's got an ID. Oh, let me guess. You, left it in your other pants? I hear that one a lot.
हॉथन की आईडी दिखा दूं क्या? पर फोटो भी तो होगी ना उसमें. फोटो मैच नहीं करेगी फिर.
I'd tell you no one's fallen for that line in about 30 years. Then, I'd take the safety off my gun and kindly ask you to move along.
It's a good thing he didn't say that then, right? Right, sir?
Sure, kid. Right.
इसको मैं वो नहीं कर सकता? अरे यार.
Captain Hawthorne, you said. Let me apologize in advance. I'm about to ruin your day. According to your ship's record, you've been flagged by the board. Your ship will be impounded until such a time as they see fit to lift it.
But we've hardly been out of Edgewater long enough to get in trouble.
Well, isn't this wonderful? The captain's done something to get on the board's bad side.
Now, hold on. This isn't the end of the world. Probably. You'll want to take it up with Udom Bedford, our board representative here on Groundbreaker. His office is located along the starboard wall of the
Talk
promenade.
to
Shines
Udom
like a Byzantian
Bedford.
commode. You can't miss it. Access to that information is above my pay grade, and I've turned down 3 promotions, so it stays that way. I shouldn't be mentioning it, but what the hell? This here, impounding your ship, it doesn't happen much. The board knows we don't take kindly to their interfering in our operations. If I had to take a guess as to why, you must have riled up someone important. You take the starch out of them, well, you won't hear any complaints from me. Oh, and if you're headed that way, would you mind doing me a favor?
वाह भाई इसको फेवर भी चाहिए अब.
Wanda Dorset over in sickbay, tell her the shipment's not in yet. It's not coming in anytime soon.
कोई
and
नहीं
she'd
ले
be
लेते
so
हैं ये
obliged
पैसे तो
to get
देगा
off
ना
my
उसके
ass about it.
बदले में. हर शिपमेंट.
A handful of SAM cleaning units retrofitted for surgery. I don't know much else. I stopped listening when she started yelling. Much appreciated. Is there anything else I can help you with? You noticed, huh? What can I say? We're passionate folks, and the board can't abide that independent spirit, especially not when it might impact their bottom line. All their interstellar freighters come through us, and we skim a few bits off the top in manifest processing fees with every one. Folks around here will bluster that the board hates our freedom, but really, they know we can stop their out-system shipments anytime we like, and that terrifies them. It's a delicate balance, right? We could cancel their freighters' docking privileges in retaliation, but where'd that lead us? They got assault cruisers, gunships, and a handful of mining operations at their fingertips. We push them too hard, maybe they decide we'd be better in 10 trillion little pieces. Or they cobble together a new groundbreaker and put us out of business.
The board wouldn't do that. Would they?
The board is necessary to provide order to the colony. They believe it's their prerogative to overrun you. But whether you allow that is up to you.
It's a tough line to walk, no doubt about that. But we make do all right. So far, anyway. Yep. Groundbreaker's the only real independent port. Aside from us, there's just tramp freighters and wildcat miners. Seems like every year the board's offices get bigger and their ships take up more of the landing bays. Haven't seen nearly as many tramp crews this year. Sure thing. He's friendly enough unless you speak ill of the board. Get the sense he doesn't care for Groundbreaker much. Not that he would, being a board man and all. He's our liaison.
Liaison क्या होता है भाई?
Sure thing. Maybe. Most of the shipping traffic in the system passes through Groundbreaker. Every couple of months, we even get a big interstellar freighter. 2 biggest operations are the board. That is, Halcyon Holdings and Sublight Salvage. But there are independent operators around the promenade deck. Most of those jobs are going to take you off station, though. Are you pulling my leg? You must be one of them long-haul freighters from outside the colony. Well, I won't hold it against you. Goes like this. Back on Earth, before the crossing, the powers that be were selling off stakes in distant star systems they thought had potential. A bunch of companies decided to throw in together and form the Halcyon Holdings Corporation, then buy up the rights to this here colony. That group's what we now call the Board. Groundbreaker was one of the original colony vessels to come over on the crossing. a few years before her sister ship, the Hope. Once
Sister
everybody's
ship,
been thawed
Hope.
and dropped dirt side, the
Groundbreaker
original
की.
crew of the Groundbreaker decided they rather liked the spacefaring life. I guess that was the start of our independent spirit. Now, here we are. Sitting around drinking whiskey and smoking cigars, yeah, probably. Can't say for sure, of course. Doubt I'll ever see the inside of it myself. Yep, Groundbreaker's the only real independent port. Seems like every year the board's off. Glad to help. They strip the parts from derelict ships and abandoned outposts. There's some that say they make the derelicts and encourage folks to abandon their steads. Sublight gives me the creeps. I've known folks who
अभी
went to work with
सबलाइट
them and just
सबलाइट कौन है?
vanished. They're on the promenade run by a woman named Lilia Hagen. I'm only telling you so you know to avoid them. Relative to the board holdings? Not really. But there's a few with the means to go where they will. They aren't rich, but they aren't likely to look too close at your work history either. Commandant Sanita might have a couple of folks she needs killed. Bad folks, I mean. Not regular folks. She'll be at the security desk behind me. Chief Junlei might have an errand needs running. She's all tied up trying to fix our heat problem. You'll find her in engineering.
No kidding? I'd love to get a look at this old girl's innards. I bet they're real twisty and weird. In a good way.
If you're thinking to make a career here, don't waste your time. Full-time jobs on Groundbreaker tend to be inherited, or go to a fellow crew member's kid. Keep it in the family, you know. All right. Most places are on the promenade deck. Big door yonder, straight through security. There's a bar on the starboard side. I got a preference
सारी
for the lost
इन्फॉर्मेशन
hope
ले लो भाई,
myself.
कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन
Talk to
बचनी नहीं
Vera.
चाहिए.
She'll set you right.
इतने सारे नाम बता रहा है, वेरा बहरा, भाई याद
Need
भी नहीं
anything
रहेंगे तो.
else? You let me know. Don't want anyone saying Groundbreaker's not the most hospitable port in the colony. The fence. You'll find her in the rest and go, on your left when you enter the promenade. Make sure you bring an empty belly. Be seeing you.
चलो भाई, ये दो मार कर किसके आ गए? जा सकता हूँ ना बंदा? कौन है? Comrade Sanita?
Unless you're here to file an incident report or to inquire about the bounty posting, I must kindly ask you to clear out. The Mardet's offices aren't for leisure time nor loitering. Do I look like your gossipy best friend? While I'm on post, I take my duties real serious. I would have no qualms whatsoever escorting you to a cell. Understand? I'm not here for a chat. Now get moving before I see you moved. We're the security force here on Groundbreaker.
अच्छा, Marded
Started back
security
before
है
the
इनकी,
crossing, you
ठीक
know.
है.
The original force was made up of a Marine detachment from the 77th Marine Expeditionary Unit, Trailward Fleet. Folks started calling us Mardettes because it was easier to say. Guess it stuck. Got a hot one for you. Captain Gunnar McRed. Just 26 hours old. The posting, that is. Not the criminal. Allegations include several counts of flying under the influence, carrying open alcoholic containers, failure to pay docking fees, resisting arrest, and assaulting not one but 2 officers. Swerving in the air was more like it. Then he crashed hard into the dock and tumbled out of his ship and fled on foot. Spilled Rizzo's Violet Spectrum vodka all over Officer Hartley. An affront of its own, considering none of us are approved for anything higher than green spectrum. Last tip we got pointed toward the back bays. You want the reward? Do the legwork. Oh, I will. Soon as the chief approves the personnel reorg required for a bounty dispatch. So, in about 3 to 7 weeks. You and about 6 other enterprising
Down
mavericks.
and kill Captain
It's only a matter of
McRed.
time before someone brings me McRed's head, or his lucky lighter, as proof of kill. I do hope you're the lucky hunter, though. Good luck and skip speed to you.
ये बंदा कौन है?
Hi there. Haven't seen you around before.
भाई शक्ल भी नहीं दिख
What
रही
can
है।
Groundbreaker Security do for you today? Chief Tennyson don't generally hire outsiders for station jobs, but you could try asking at Sublight Salvage. They got an office on the far end of the promenade deck. Anything else I can help you with, mister? They're run by Miss Hagen. Half the tramp captains and contractors in the system have worked for her. I ought to warn you straight off. Scuttlebutt says some of the jobs they do aren't exactly above board. Downright anti-business, if you catch my meaning. Let's say there's been times when I heard somebody needed a thing, and somebody else had such a thing, but they weren't inclined to sell. Now let's say the one who had the thing suddenly found theirs missing, and the one who needed got one. If anyone asks, Sublight says it got salvaged from an old wreck. Case closed. If anybody could prove them criminals, the board would have put their foot down a long time past. They always got, what do they call it? Deniability? Something gets nicked or someone turns up dead, Sublight says, hey, independent contractor, not our responsibility. But everyone knows what they're doing, top to bottom. Against is a strong word. Let's say that if you need something the board ain't inclined to sell, you might look to Sublight to get it.
अच्छा
You might pay Sublight a shitload of bits for it, but that money gets passed on to their contractors, so in the end, it's still business.
You must admit, there is a beauty to the order of it. Everything operates within the constraints of the grand plan, even organized crime.
People do what they gotta to get by. Oh, sure, sorry. Gets a mite boring at this desk, you know. Then I get to chatting too much and Commandant Sonia's gotta reprimand me again and... Oops, doing it again. Sorry.
Oh, don't worry. Captain's real understanding.
Can't speak for the captain, but I'm used to listening to folks drone on about their pointless, depressing lives.
Awful generous of you, listening to me like this. Chief Junlei Tennyson. She runs the ship. Does a real great job of it, too. Her family's worked on it for, gosh, since it was built, I think. Back before the crossing.
What's she like? Is she a good boss?
Good as she can be, I guess. What with all the troubles Groundbreaker's facing. She could stand to lighten up, I suppose. But she tries her best to do right by folks, and that's what matters. Sure is, but she makes it look easy. She's real competent, our chief, even if she ain't real friendly. This is the security desk, sir. If you're here to report a crime, you'll want to talk to Commandant Sonita. I'm not authorized to take incident reports anymore. I'm not so good at filing. Mix up first name and surname 1, 2, 7 times. Well,
वाह भाई
folks are liable to start taking your filing privileges away. Less than there used to be. Fewer freighters passing through these days. I spend some shifts Just listening to the wireless. Search me? I mean, don't search me, because that's my job. Get it? I reckon you'd have to ask the folks in Byzantium. Sure, and stuff from outside the system too, off the interstellar freighters. That's why we also have so many armed Mardettes on duty here. That'd be awful weird. On account of you should be locked up back here too then. We can't just let anyone walk in here. I wouldn't be, well, it's not... we just don't. Maybe if you clear an open bounty and get in good with Commandant Sunita, or help Chief Tennyson fix this heat, that might warrant a thank you tour or something.
Bribe. 868 bits भाई bribe छोड़ो.
Well, let me think about it for a minute. No?
You don't sound awfully sure of that.
We got a lot of rules to follow. Hard to remember them all sometimes. Yeah, I'm getting that, but this area's off limits. I told you. Maybe if you clear an open bounty and get in good with Commandant
ये तो बोल दिया था ना इसने. ठीक है, मैं bribe तो नहीं कर रहा, मैं यही उसने जो मेरे को ऊपर बाउंड्री दी थी वो क्लियर कर दूंगा और इससे बात कर लूँगा. सनीटा, क्या नाम है इसका? सनीटा. तो शायद फिर मेरे को एक्सेस मिल जाए. ठीक है.
Alright.
हो गया भाई. यही है ना सनीटा? A quest object requires you to enter a restricted area. If caught inside, you will be shot on sight.
This is it. Security. I can check the departures registry to find out which crew the Scholar shipped in and out with.
Gladys इधर है ना?
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story.
अबे ये जानी पहचानी लग रही. देखी दिखाई.
Travelers that passage to Monarch is restricted for your protection. Canyons of acid and sulfur.
गलत जगह आ गया लगता है.
Anarchists live as
Gladys ये है क्या? ये नहीं है भाई, उधर है.
savage and unemployed. The board's embargo ensures that nothing can leave the planet and
ओ भाई ये क्या?
Try not to be
टाउन है पूरा.
distracted by the glare of the adverts. Lots of unsavory types about.
12% more crunch.
मुझे इधर जाना है ना.
Ooh, can we rent an upstairs room?
How do you do? And welcome to the Rest and Go. We used to be the Go and Rest, but folks never knew when to leave. Sorry. Business has been slow. Anything to occupy the time. Oh, you can't miss her. Right behind you, number 2. First unit on the left, or second unit from the right, depending on which direction you count from. Fine, as long as the board keeps its grubby mitts to itself. Chief Tennyson holds the ship together, the Promenade holds our economy together, and Sublight is the shoddy jewel in our rusty old crown. Our Chief Tennyson has an independent streak, same as her mother and grandmother who rode this ship on the crossing. There's a reason the board's embassy is a glorified shoebox. While Junlei Tennyson lives and breathes, Groundbreaker remains free. Our local garbage collectors. That Lilia Hagen never met a debris field she didn't like. She freely admits she planted her roots in Groundbreaker to escape board oversight. But I think there's more to it. She's unusual in the head, that one. Of course, most of
Promenade
our
क्या
supplies
मतलब है
come
भाई?
and go through merchants. Company ships and salvage runs are the only traffic we tend to get. I try and steer clear of that creepy fellow in the moon mask. If there's a cost to being a company man, he paid it in spades.
छब्बीस बिट कार्ट्रिज चोरी करूँगा तो गोली मारेंगे सब मेरे को. भाई ये भी चोरी नहीं कर सकता मैं. कोई देख तो नहीं रहा वैसे, ये सो रही है. कोई भरोसा नहीं उठ के मारने लग जाए.
Carry on.
ये रही भाई ग्लैडिस. नहीं चुरा सकता.
Bless my heart. A stranger come knocking on a poor old woman's door. You here for a particular reason? Or did the neighbors tell you how good my sugar cookies are? Made without a single natural ingredient or an oven. Just like store-bought. Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I could be thrown to the void just for discussing such a transaction. Lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port.
Purchase
We're
करना है
outside
इससे.
of the board's control. For the time being, at least. Now, I only have the one nav key. And they're hard to come by these days. It won't be cheap. If you find yourself lacking in the bits, I might have an opportunity you'd be interested in.
भाई 10,000 बिट्स. वह पागल हो रही है क्या बुढ़िया? भाई 10,000 तो बहुत हो गए. Any discount?
Phineas, that old kook. He was quite the dancer back in his prime, did he tell you? Real light on his feet. Real light in the wallet, too. He still owes me a small fortune. Laws. Maybe I should
Bye-bye.
charge you double.
चल भाई opportunity
Well,
बता तू.
I find I'm in need of a ship captain with a little moral flexibility. Might be this could help out the Groundbreaker, as well as earn some bits. But if you've got qualms...
Qualms? ये क्या होता है भाई? No qualms here. Let's hear the details. What are the jobs do you?
Do you know Edna, over in engineering? Sweet as a pea, that one. On occasion, she'll pass along transmissions I might find interesting. She sent me a recording of a distress signal she'd scraped from the Groundbreaker's comm array. Curious thing is, it came from an outpost called Roseway. And Auntie Cleo abandoned that place years ago. Can't say I know for sure. Maybe it never really was.
Sounds like someone poking into somewhere they shouldn't be got into a spot of trouble.
Comm centers don't operate themselves, Captain. Someone had to have sent that distress call manually.
Those corps are cleverer than all get out. Might have been a ruse to keep the rest of the board from sniffing around. Edna didn't seem to think so, and I trust the dear girl's judgment. Well, maybe not in men, but she knows her comms. So, like as not, someone's been down there recently. And if someone set up shop in Roseway, I'd wager they got something to hide. Maybe whatever they're hiding went to heck, and now they need a few spare hands to clean up the mess. If you should find a secret worth selling, might be I could find a buyer. corporate bigwigs will pay top bit for inside information on their competitors. The more we got the corps fighting each other, the less time they got to meddle in our affairs. Neither do mine, dearie. Old Gladys knows the value of good work. You'll be compensated accordingly, I can promise you that. Should you find yourself responding to a certain distress call, and in so doing find yourself in possession of certain valuable corporate secrets, well, then we ought to have a chat over a pot of tea and my famous cookies. Law bless your atoms. Here's a copy of the SOS recording, complete with the coordinates. Don't forget to come find old Gladys when you're done. Might want to acquaint yourself with Junlei Tennyson, Groundbreaker's chief. She's been trying to get a handle on this heat problem we've got. You'll find her
Quest
fretting in
request, why
engineering.
quest request?
I'd say she's a sweet girl, but law forfend someone call me a liar. Yes, dearie?
अच्छा ये तो वही डायलॉग आ जाएगा मेरे ख्याल से.
Anytime, sweetheart. You know where to find me. Here, take a candy with you.
ये अभी मार कर क्यों आ रहा है?
Why is it?
अच्छा ये खरीदने के लिए आ रहा है मेरे ख्याल से.
What do you want? That's right, dearie. The only independent station in the colony. That's us. Though for how long, I can't say. That all depends on Miss Junlei. The board can't abide a community that won't bend to its will. They've always got one scheme or another running, looking for ways to bring us to heel. Like this heat business. Shameful. But it won't work. No, sir. Groundbreaker's free till the day she dies, law willing. Go right ahead, sweetheart. Groundbreaker's radiators. Been neither fine nor dandy for weeks now. Miss Junlei's supposed to be getting them fixed, but the board's determined to get in her way. The board can't abide a community that won't bend to its will. They've always got one scheme or another, but it won't work. No. Oh, a little of this, a little of that. I buy and sell items that require discretion to dispose of. Knickknacks. Curios. I also knit throw pillows stuffed with the hair of famous tossball players. But that's more of a passion project.
What about non-famous players? I earned quite a reputation as a fifth back during my penitentiary, seminary days.
You do have a favorable mop, I must say. But that's not what you wanted to talk about, is it, dear? Ask the common folk, and they'll tell you it's on account of all the monsters on Monarch desperate to gobble you up. Because that's what the board tells them, you see. I think they made some fool mistake that would make them look bad to the rest of the colony, and they're trying to hide the evidence. Those board folk are real prideful-like. Never want you looking behind the curtain, lest you see their derrieres. But old Gladys knows the score. The whole colony's not much more than a diorama, showcasing one board screw-up after another. That's why we gotta keep them from getting their grubby mitts on Groundbreaker. She's our mess. Probably. Every once in a while, we get these snippets of radio chatter. Edna shows them to me. Some man hooting and hollering about the light in us all. Claims he's transmitting from Monarch, but who knows if that's true. Might be true. Might be some new trick from the board.
एक मिनट यार कॉल आ रही है मेरी.
Anytime, sweetheart. You know where to find me.
चलो भाई, ये बुढ़िया को 10,000 बिट्स ला के देने हैं मेरे को। निकलो भाई यहाँ से। ऊडोम के पास चलते हैं पहले। अबे ये कौन है?
Sorry about the heat. Chief Tennyson will get the radiators fixed soon. Of course, this heat sure makes a zero-G brew extra refreshing. It's an ale that's good for what ails you. Oh, and it's not the best choice. It's Spacer's Choice. Taste the freedom. A lot of slogans to keep track of. Sometimes I forget.
You were for Spacer's Choice. इसकी शक्ल भी Spacer's Choice वाली है भाई। मतलब जो इसने मास्क पहन रखा है या शक्ल ही ऐसी है पता नहीं।
Heard of it? My orientation aether wave showed that famous Saltuna cannery, which I'm sure smells as good as it looks.
That's true.
Yeah. I hope they're gonna be okay.
That's the Spacer's Choice beer. Take what you have, polish it up, and make the best of it. So, what can I get you? Some soap? Everyone loves soap. Everyone will love you for using it, too. I'm bound to satisfy headgear-related inquiries. Please send any complaints to our Consumer Care Headwear Division. Oh, I'm having a stellar day. And not just because I'm legally obligated to say so. Almost as stellar as Spacer's Choice is affordable. I can see all of the top quality merchandise in the Spacer's Choice catalog, which is available here at a reasonable price. Spacer's Choice regrets that we don't sell toothpaste at this time, but we're always working on delivering exciting new products to our customers. Spread wash, mouthwash, and Mantafloss are among the exciting line of dental goods currently in development. Don't miss out on these deals. You'll find none like them on all of Groundbreaker, or anywhere in the Halcyon Colony. Trouble sleeping? Try our lunar
भाई हम
eclipse
पूछ
mix.
इसके बारे में रहे हैं पर ये बताया जा रहा है
2
प्रोडक्ट्स के बारे में
handfuls of
अपने
Pepsi Oil
Spacer's
with
Choice
a
के।
hearty swig,
सही है
2-hour
भाई।
energy
ये रोबोट है क्या? रोबोट तो नहीं लग
A
रहा भाई।
blast will send you through the stratosphere, and the crash will knock you out cold, guaranteed. Add an additional 10% to your purchase today, and the proceeds will be donated to Spacer Cares, our premier corporate welfare program. At Spacer's Choice, we care about your health and emotional well-being. That's why we put Martin through 6 years of vendor school, only to make him wear this hat.
अच्छा जी। That's why we put Martin. Martin इस बंदे का नाम है। Through 6 years of vendor school. Vendor school भी होते हैं इसमें। Only to make him wear this hat. वाह।
Even if my contract didn't forbid it, I think it's part of me now. Now, are you ready to make Spacer's Choice Lunar Green Moonmouth lozenges a part of you? Lunar Green, the future is spearmint. You would never ask if you knew what it's like in here. I mean, why, anyone can be a Spacer's Choice Consumer Relations Choice Specialist. Just keep your nose clean and aim for the moon. Damn it. No slogan for that one. Look, This hat. My job. It may not seem like much to a brave space captain, but they're all that I have. If there are self-made purgatories, then we all have to live in them. Mine can be no worse than someone else's. Now, if we're done with the chit-chat, I hope you don't mind if I make the most of this short life and try to be the best moon person I can be. It's fine. I should be stronger than this. Thanks for taking an interest. Speaking of interest, can I interest you in some quality budget goods? At Spacer's Choice, we cut corners so you don't have to. Anything and everything. Whatever you want, we got it. And when you need a replacement, we got that too. Just the opposite. Spacer's Choice items are always new, hot off the shelves, because customers just can't stop buying new stuff. Oh, sorry. Got the line wrong. You want me to do it again? Spacer's Choice items are always new, hot off the shelves, because customers just can't stop improving their lives with our fine products. You could go broke buying overpriced Aramid gear, or you could buy from us at a much more reasonable rate. That's why you should get a backup or three. Become a frequent buyer. Join our Friendship Rewards program. Program currently unapproved in Alpha, rewards and friendship pending. Have a look.
क्या क्या है ये फालतू का ही है, मेरे को चाहिए तो नहीं इनमें से कुछ. उधर क्या है?
Careful where you smoke. The crew bills us for air filtration.
ओ भाई, अरे यार पर ये देख रही है ना.
You know that sound when you've snapped on an injector clip? That's how you know your weapon loves you back. I got a full line of weapon modifications I'd be happy to show you. Why, it gets you the weapon best suited for your lifestyle.
All the better for performing a little percussive maintenance.
Self-improvement, including one's weapons, is always a worthy endeavor.
Take your basic Deadeye assault rifle. Perfectly serviceable. But what if you like finesse? Slap a scope and silencer on that bad boy. Bunker down in a bush someplace and pop off heads. What if you like getting in close and making a lot of noise? Extended ammo magazine and a barrel heatsink to bump up rate of fire. Only takes a bit of elbow grease and a spot of engineering know-how. Most ships have a workbench near the cargo hold. Ours is in engineering. You could take your new toys over there if you feel like tinkering. No and yes. When you install something, it pops in there real nice, but if you want to replace it, the originals tend to snap like plastic toys. Right here for a start. I got a fair selection. Modified weapons are my specialty.
भाई कुछ खरीद तो पाऊंगा नहीं मैं, मेरे को 10,000 बिट जमा करने वैसे ही.
A what? Sorry, hon. Here at Bell's Shells, we just don't discuss impolite topics, and WARRANTIES tops the list. So, what can I get you?
वैसे देखता हूँ क्या दे रही है। डेड आई असॉल्ट राइफल ये वही है ना 198 DPS। ग्रेनेड लॉन्चर चुरा भी नहीं सकता भाई।
Go back to Byzantium, you gold-plated bastards.
Yeah, no one wants you on groundbreaker.
These stairs are board property.
Ah, the board. Organized, efficient, competent.
Is Halcyon?
Well, mostly.
We interrupt your regular...
Everything in here is worth more than I made in my whole life.
अरे requires to do अच्छा।
Because she remembers you.
You mind if I ask you a question? Like, a personal one? Is it true what you said? About being on the Hope?
It's true. I woke right before I showed up.
Wow. Well, welcome to Halcyon. I'm Parvati Holcomb. Parvati Holcomb, which you already knew. Okay, I'm bad at this. Reckon we'll have to figure it out together. I mean, if that's what you want. I didn't mean to presume. Sorry.
Head back to the ship, Parvati. I'm going on without you. ना ship में नहीं भेजना भाई वापस।
Yes, you caught me ruminating again. Guilty as charged. What's occupying your thoughts?
अरे भाई इतने सारे डायलॉग।
Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar with a violently enthusiastic disposition.
Violently enthusiastic.
That's what my parents called it. I grew up in a pit of a town much like Edgewater. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need to solve the equation. My passion didn't sit well with them. My parents, ironically, they internalized the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. They had a pure faith, a faith that brought joy to them regardless of the situation. I envied that. I wanted that peace. I thought if I became a vicar, I could find it. Or at the very least, find out why I lacked it. They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. Some people pursue the clergy for power, prestige, but that was not me. The plan is not one rigid path. There are a variety of multitudes contained within it. Our paths have variants, but we'll end up adhering to it.
इसने pants बोला ना? Paths की जगह pants बोला इसने.
Some choices make the path smoother, some rougher. You can even go outside the lines, but the further outside you go, it's like an unbreakable elastic band. It will only stretch so far before it snaps back. The further it is stretched, the more violent the eventual correction. I have run headlong into too many walls in my pursuit of the truth. This book is my last hope, and you were my only hope of getting it translated. I honestly don't know what I'd do. This quest has consumed me for the better part of my life. I fear there's nothing else left to me. What about you? What's your story? And how did he do that? Well, you do seem different than every other colonist. Let's pretend for the moment I believe you. What are you going to do now? That seems a dangerous proposition. Why risk your life now that it's been returned to you? Oh, I see. You have my condolences. Bakonu, the author, had some interesting theories about man's perception of reality that I thought could be applied to our attempts to decipher the plan. Unfortunately, he was also one of the founders of the Philosophist school of thought, so the book is banned in this colony. Philosophism's a false religion that stands in contradiction to almost everything we know to be true. They believe all is chaos, in stark contrast to OSI's belief in the plan. But most of the philosophist perversion of Bakonu's thoughts came more than a century after his death. Yes, well, now that we're here, can we check in with security? I'd like to track down that scholar.
इससे बात करनी पड़ेगी ना पहले.
Ah, yes. Wheeler messaged me you were coming. You must be the captain of the Unreliable, a vessel that used to be helmed by one Alex Hawthorne. And you are not he. Has something happened to my favorite scruffy freelancer?
I'm going to ring your scrawny neck, you spread fuck. Give me back my ship. Wow, bhai.
Oh no, this is terrible. My dear friend, what devilry is this? In whose miserable fever dream am I trapped? Oh, Alex. There were so many arguments we'd yet to have. He was my dearest friend. My only friend. You have his ship, you must know. That picture of us on the promenade, me hugging him, him wincing. I keep a copy beside my bed. Did he?
Lie.
Ah, that's just like him. Such a sentimental man. Tell me, how did he die?
He died in an escape pod accident. Lie कर देता हूँ.
No! How dreadful. That was always Alex's greatest fear, you know. Devoured by those fiends. Becoming one with their droppings. Fine. You're free to go. I've removed the impound order on your ship. But before you go, I did have one request. Alex promised to tell me the location of Phineas Wells. I'm sure you've seen his wanted posters all over the colony. Did Alex tell you where Wells might be? Anything at all?
ना भाई वेलिस को नहीं कर सकते ना हम क्योंकि उसने तो हमें बचाया है. Why is the board so interested in Velis anyway?
You haven't read the posters. He's a terrorist, a thief, a madman. It's really in the colony's best interest that we stop him before he does further harm. Well, Alex knew, or he said he did. And you have his ship. Maybe he kept some records around, or a conveniently placed note on his bedside table. That's... well, that's just terrible news. Law, what am I going to do now? The board will have my head. Oh, I'm sorry. This is terribly unprofessional of me. Is there anything else I might help you with? It's personal business, I'm afraid. Miserably, terribly personal. Information on the whereabouts of Phineas Wells would go a long way. Well, it's my white whale, I suppose. It's fine, really. It's perfectly fine. I understand. Now, if you've nothing else, please see yourself out. I'd like to drown myself in work. Be my guest. I'm the certified representative of the board's interests here on the Groundbreaker. I'm their eyes, ears, and busy little hands. I have few complaints.
Oh, good law! Who'd want to go to that toxic hell pit? No. Emphatically no. Unequivocally no. Immutably no. Best to be clear, I believe. Ugh. Law, but it's miserable. My underarms are damp. How can I be expected to work in these conditions? Chief Tennyson is supposedly looking into the cause, but I've seen no action from her. Deplorable conduct. My superiors will be hearing about it. You can be certain of that. Oh, you've noticed my friends. Wonderful. Aren't their guns very large? Tremendously impressive. They're here to keep the peace, of course. Precisely. Groundbreaker makes much ado about its independent status and so resents any board presence, no matter how benign. When the alternative is board guards at their gates, yes, I do. They don't see it that way, of course, but I can't say I much care. A luxury stateroom, reserved for Chairman Rockwell's use. Oh, good law, of course not. He'd never set foot on this decrepit junk pile. As this office is the primary embassy for the board on Groundbreaker, corporate bylaws specifically state a room must be maintained for the chairman's exclusive use. Ask away.
हाँ भाई, इसका पासकोड कैसे मिलेगा? इसको मैं बताऊंगा तेरी लोकेशन भाई, उसकी वेलिस की। इसके बाद चलते हैं अब टेनिसन। ठीक है।
Hearty greeting, potential customer. Welcome to
Auntie's
Auntie's
Kitchen.
a home-style consumable protein dispensary. This unit dispense proteins for your ingestion. This unit is programmed to simulate shock at such assertions. Shock simulation non-functional. A trouble ticket has been filed. Shock simulation restored. Initiating shocked subroutine. How dare you? Shocked subroutine complete. Estimated guilt level of customer increased by 35%. Resuming protein dispensation protocol. This unit dispense proteins for your ingestion. Beginning dispensing sequence. Please unblock all relevant facial protein ingestion tubes.
क्या है ये? खाने पीने की दे रहा है रोबोट? सही है, मेरा बहुत पड़ा भाई। आंटी किचन्स की कार्ड भाई को देख तो नहीं ले भाई। चुरा के देखो आइटम, गेट बंद करो भाई, कोई नहीं देख रहा। निकलो भाई। ये क्या है? अरे यार कॉल आ रही है, 1 मिनट। भाई ये क्या चीज़ है भाई? यहाँ पे किसी को पेल भी रखा है, आंटी के लिए वर्कर को पेल रखा है। निकलो भाई यहाँ से। देखो ना,
Good law, the heat in here is so unbearable. I can hardly.
अच्छा ये गर्मी हो रही है भाई, मतलब अभी सोचो अजीब सा दिख रहा है, इतनी तेज गर्मी हो रही है।
Thought there'd be more machinery. Must be housed on a sub-level.
I could spend all day in here and not have looked at half the best stuff.
Junlei Tennyson. I'm captain around here, but chief to my friends. Hope you don't mind the formal introduction. Groundbreaker doesn't see many visitors. No, it isn't. It's a mess. But it's my mess, so I'll take the compliment. Just so we understand each other, I'm the final word on the ship. The Mardits, the crew, the engineers, their family. I hope there won't be any problems while you're visiting. At ease. Nice to see an outsider with some working brain cells. So what brings you to Groundbreaker? I'm curious, even though 9 times out of 10 the answer's just passing through. Interesting. The powers that be paint an ugly picture of Monarch. Critters and such. Maybe someone in the promenade can get you the right weapon for the job. We see a lot of the same faces coming and going, most of them board spies and corporate sprats. Makes it hard to trust outsiders. You seem different, so welcome aboard. You're right, I don't. The board is after 2 things, bits and power, and they only get it by sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. I placate them when I have something to offer, but I can also be a real hard-ass. It'd be a joy if I could kick out the corporate merchants and reclaim the docking fees in my lifetime. Too much of Groundbreaker's income is flowing in the wrong direction. I'd like to see that change. I like to think of myself as a nice person, but if that gaudy embassy of his was on fire, I might hold my breath a moment before activating the sprinkler system. The board wants control over Groundbreaker. And leeches like Udom Bedford will do anything to please their corporate masters. You've got my attention. Frustrating. Everything down to the circuit boards is past warranty, so I have the pleasure of making life or death decisions on a shoestring budget. Plus, there's no time to train my successor or document fixes in a way that anyone outside the family would understand.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I'm really just a dab hand with a wrench. Nothing special. Not like a chief engineer.
Don't sell yourself short. It doesn't take a seasoned pro to tinker on Groundbreaker. Just someone who knows how a ship ought to feel. We're always thirsting for help. If you could find your way around this labyrinth of ducts and panels, we could work something out. Sure is. The Tennysons came over on the Groundbreaker. My grandmother, Chief Gayan, kept it together during the crossing and until she died. I was promoted only recently, when my mom died. Then I took the leap from chief engineer to captain.
They must have been amazing people to have taught you all you know, I mean, which is a lot.
That means a lot coming from a fellow engineer. It was different knowing that I couldn't turn to anyone who could answer the tough questions for me. Maybe you can see why I'm protective of Groundbreaker. This ship is family. It's got tinkerings and bypasses that only Tennysons know about. You see any bite-sized Tennyson children running around? I didn't think so. The next captain won't have my heritage. I'll have to foster that talent from somewhere. It's only a question of when. I hope that was a joke, Captain. I really do. I gelded that thing years ago. Now it brews a stim that goes down stronger than Nan or Spank. Family recipe. You've got my attention. Groundbreaker's radiators need replacement parts. They're dumping superheated air into my ship. Only the board has access to new parts, and I won't let them swindle me into a corner. They want us to sweat, thinking that'll soften me up for a bad faith deal. If you'll excuse me, they can go fuck themselves. The board isn't helping and my resources are spread thin. If I don't get those radiators back online, Groundbreaker, everyone aboard, will be cooked alive. Reasonable, huh? That's the best news I've heard all day. According to my grandmother's old schematics, the parts we need should be in the back bays. Sorry, I forgot not everyone knows this ship like I do. The back bays are on a lower deck, long abandoned and a haven for miscreants now. Good. Once you've obtained the parts, we can proceed to the next phase of repairs. Sorry about the heat.
What? I didn't think you just...
Parvati, is it? That's a lovely name. What can I do for you?
I was just thinking, I haven't got much experience working with actual, real spaceships, Miss Junlei. Chief Junlei.
Junlei is fine.
Nudge Parvati to continue.
Force of habit, I guess. Okay. Since you run a whole space station, I was wondering if... Well, maybe you could teach me some things. I could message you later, maybe?
I'd be happy to make the time, Parvati. You can ask me anything.
Right. In person. Sure thing, Captain. Wow, great. I'll do that then. Messages. Later. Oh, your name's pretty too. I should have said... Sorry. I like it. Honest. Sorry. Couldn't have done it without your moral support, Captain.
Now, if there's nothing else, there are other parts of the ship begging for my attention.
पार्वती का हो गया ना सीन. Return to the driver and ask Parvati about Junli. ये करते हैं.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. Talk to your local manager about applying for military training and lend your life to protecting our
2 मिनट आया, 2 मिनट में आया मैं बस गेट खोल के. चलो भाई आ गया मैं।
You look like someone who's taken their share of cuts and bruises. Need some armor? Maybe it's a bit secondhand, but that's only testament to its durability. We also have a line of specialized melee weapons, for those times you have to repel boarders but don't want to risk a bullet through the hull. Everything I sell is fresh from the forge. Technically, the metal formed billions of years ago, but it's freshly in this shape. Not me, but it's in my blood. After the crossing, my family worked Eridanos, indentured to the corporations. I was born into corporate labor, but I'm the first one of my family to buy my way out. That's why I settled on Groundbreaker. It's the last bastion of freedom.
If you're hungry, you've come to the right place. I've got a fresh ground batch of spratwurst cooking. They're terra-fried to lock in the juices. How about a grinder's dozen? You know what sprats are? Space rats. The laboratories of Spacer's Choice found a use for this limitless frontier resource. Sprat meat is plenty tasty when properly prepared. We grind them up in sausages, then terra-fry them in their own juices. Terra-frying is a Spacer's Choice brand secret. A mix of 13 herbs and spices, plus a dash of modern chemistry. Legally? No. The terra-frying method was developed and marketed by Spacer's Choice. Between you, me, and this grinder, I've been through lean times. If there's one thing you learn on tramp freighters, it's how to make near anything edible. Might be that this old space hand put a few words in the right ears, and could be that Spacer's Choice liked sticking it to C&P by R&D'ing our own special meat. Absolutely not. Spratwurst and all related terms are registered trademarks of Spacer's Choice. Boar, the other meat, is a registered trademark of C&P. Everyone knows our company and theirs are nothing alike. Just as well, near about time for me to go check on the trap. I mean, to unload another crate of farm-fresh sprats. Long as you don't mind me grinding spratwurst while we talk. Little things don't make themselves chewy. At least not yet. I'm sure modern science will find a way. Just fresh from the ground.
C&P Borston baked beans. When you need to eat...
Are you listening to me, Emfuru? You can't keep me out of there.
Please don't make a scene, Dr. Fenhill. What seems to be the problem? Not without dispensation from Chief Junlei, I fear. Supplies are hard to come by out here. We don't have the ability to manufacture our own medical supplies here on Groundbreaker. Regrettably, we are dependent on the board for such mundane items as bandages and antibiotics, as well as more critical resources like adequately trained staff. We'd nearly signed a supply agreement with Anti-Cleos, but they demanded we only use their branded drugs, and that's simply not tenable. Take care.
I'm sorry. Am I causing a scene? See, Umfuru? We could have avoided all this unpleasantness if you just let me talk to Jesse in the first place. Let me get one thing straight. Jesse and I are not friends. I just owe her, okay? As for the rest, I'm trying to figure that out. All I know is that she's been here too long, and she's apparently not receiving visitors. Be my guest. If you know something I don't about dealing with hospital bureaucracy, I'll be impressed.
Can't say I've seen you before. I take it you're a freighter captain? If you're here to better yourself, you'll have to wait. We're having a spot of trouble with our delivery service. I'm expecting our delivery fellow to stop through with medical supplies and service auto mechanicals. Name's Captain Irion. A brave idiot with a penchant for getting himself delayed. Sometimes by dates, usually by bandits. Surgery mostly. Medical personnel are difficult to come by on Groundbreaker. The board won't let their doctors and nurses station here, and they own all the medical schools. If we can't hire their people, we can't hire anyone. Everyone on staff here on Groundbreaker was trained by me or Idris. We're good, don't get me wrong. But we've only 2 heads between us, and we don't know everything. I'd be grateful if you'd spare the time. We need his delivery soon as yesterday. Last he told me, he was taking a shortcut by Scylla, an asteroid in the Charybdis cluster. That's where I'd start, were I the adventuring type. You look out, though. The place is probably crawling with outlaws.
You're gonna.
Looking sharp.
You're sure this is perfectly safe? I'd rather not die early of an infectious disease.
अरे इन दोनों की भी
myself.
ड्रेस चेंज हो गई. कुछ नहीं है भाई यहाँ पे.
Good luck getting to Jesse, and better luck if you do. She's a real piece of work.
हैं? हाँ।
Soft sour candy shell around a sweet purple berry flavored center. Subject to chew it, you can do it.
भाई ये नहीं कर सकता मैं अभी, रिस्ट्रिक्टेड है ये तो।
Sublight salvage. Their front looks surprisingly on the up and up.
You reckon we can shop here, or is it all spoke for?
अरे तू ऊपर जा
I
रहा
had
है
a question about your plan, Mr. Vicker.
Of course. The cosmos is generated and directed by the universal equation, also known as the Grand Plan. By contemplating the teleological order of things, one can achieve verity. Oh, right.
Welcome to Sublight Salvage and Shipping, a legitimate business for legitimate consumers. You the one flying the unreliable? Money. We got it. The Steve Doors want it. I'll take that as a yes. Miss Lily has been expecting you. I'll unlock the door. Sure am. A few years back, they got me started on simple acquisitions. You know those latches they put on cargo bays ain't worth a damn? These days, I stick to HQ and look after Miss Lilia.
So you're the new captain in town. I was hoping you'd make your way to my office. Saves me the work of hunting you down. Lilia Hagen, CEO and Executive Director of Aggressive Operations. I'm guessing you already know about Sublight, otherwise you wouldn't have come. Not a word. Pity. My guy in marketing is about to lose his other thumb. It's nice to see the Unreliable again. Useful ship. Hawthorne was my contractor. I'd recognize that leaky boat of his anywhere. Is Ada still at the helm? I don't know how many times I told Hawthorne to restore that smartass to factory settings. I have a salvage job for someone light on corporate ties with a reliable set of wings, but there's a catch.
Just like in the serials.
If you have a nav key to Stellar Bay, the job's yours. Interested? First, an embargo that's been active ever since the board pulled its forces off-world. Few regulations, plenty of freedom. And second, all the goodies that no one had time to pack. I like that initiative, but ease back on the throttle. Gladys at the Rest and Go might have what you need. If there's anything else, be quick about it. Time is bits. These days, the scrap business all but runs itself. Gives me the time to expand our interests into other sectors, where I can let my hair down.
Our field is persuasive acquisitions. At least that's how my legal advisors tell me to phrase it. Not all of our salvage is abandoned when we find it. Sometimes it takes a polite conversation and a shot across the bow. You know, legal formalities. Your words, not mine. Hey, careful with the C word around here. I like to keep things above board, and that kind of talk only makes trouble. Sublight occupies a legal blind spot. No one knows what we're licensed to do, and that gives our little business some freedom. But let's not tempt fate. Very. I have this thing about numbers in spreadsheets, grids in general. I like to think of myself as the last honest businesswoman in Halcyon, but I'll settle for being the most organized one. Ask. I have nothing to hide. Be seeing you. Make sure you aren't followed on your way out.
Who wants to play an impromptu tossball match? No one?
C&P chicken and potatoes at C&P. C&P.
To the last ratted on rotten time, leave me in peace! You hull-headed quacks do know that restful recuperation requires not being disturbed, don't you? What? Why? Everything's fine. We're all fine here. No need for her to be worrying her pretty little head about me. I'm just terrible, dreadful sick is all. Got a cough that won't quit and sores all over my body. Highly, lethally contagious. But I'll be fine, so long as I'm left alone. Should've known she'd send a bruiser after me. Damned if I don't rue the day I saved her scrawny little hide. Inadvertently, I befriended a bloodhound in the process. Alright, okay. We can discuss this like the level-headed folk that we are. Seems I've got to do something before Ellie goes jabbering my business to anyone with one ear and an intent to listen.
The truth is, I'm not sick. But if you repeat what I'm about to tell you to anyone, I will deny it with my dying breath. You, ain't with the board, are you? See, I owe them a lot. I might have missed a payment or two, and the other night I swear someone was following me back to my room. So I hold up here to lay low. Oh, laws. Wait, don't gut me and skin me yet. Please, talk to Bedford. Tell him I can pay, a part of it, and I'm a useful person to know. Just ask Ellie. Surely you wouldn't drag me before him. I'm dreadful contagious. I just know if I face him, I'm dead. What? No, I didn't do anything. I'm a law-abiding denizen of this ship, I swear. Think? No. I recognize a contracted killer when I see one, thank you. In my line of work, that's a skill you develop during week 1, assuming you want to keep breathing. All right, I'll fess this part up too, if it means you'll help me. I'm a thief. I specialize in particularly high-end and historically valuable items. 3 weeks back, I caught rumor that the blood-tier diamond, last worn by an heiress on the Lost Hope, had surfaced for the first time in 70 years. If I had, you think I'd be hiding out in the Med Bay? I was gonna steal it, lined up Udom as my buyer. He paid half up front to finance the operation. Let's just say things went sideways about the time I got my hands on the diamond, and it crumbled to stardust in my palm. Anywho, I barely made it out with my life, and nary a plan to make back Udom's deposit I'd spent. Udom Bedford's the board guy on the station. He'd know how I stand with them. If you can square things for me, I'd owe you one even bigger than Ellie owes me. Thanks for helping me with the board. You're a real pal. Or I guess I should say, Ellie is one, huh?
Udom. अच्छा ये जो नीचे पर्पल कलर का बार है ये मेरे उसका है। अच्छा अच्छा समझ गया, जो होलोग्राफिक है मेरा। अब निकलना है ना यहाँ से, उडोम के पास जाना है।
This is Halcyon.
How do you do? Ah, how might I assist you? Miss Doyle owes the board a significant sum. Alas, the only collateral she has is her organs. Compulsory donation is quite legal in such cases. That's not unreasonable.
I guess it's better than losing your organs, but I don't know, Captain. It just doesn't seem right.
Miss Doyle is deeply in debt, and the board has every right to do whatever they like to recoup that debt. What guarantee do I have that she'll agree to the terms you negotiate? I quite concur. It's refreshing to deal with someone practical for a change. I will recall my collection agent. Tell Miss Doyle to report to me promptly for her first assignment. Now, is there anything else you need, or can I return to my work?
भैया अगर मैं इसको फिनिस वेलिस की लोकेशन बता दूं तो क्या होगा? हाँ। एक मिनट में देखता हूँ ज़रा क्या होगा, क्योंकि मुझे लग नहीं रहा कि बताना चाहिए उसकी लोकेशन।
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. Concerned citizens often ask why there aren't enough new faces in the Halcyon colony. We all want new neighbors from time to time. Our studies have shown that a controlled population is inversely proportional to consumer happiness. Fewer colonists means there's
छोड़ो भाई,
more
नहीं बता रहा
paradise
हूँ।
for the rest of us to enjoy. This story brought to you by Halcyon News. All the news that's fit to broadcast.
अब कहाँ जाना है? एली के पास।
Wish I could say it was good to see you, Ellie. At least you finally got your chance to square our debt. That ought to make you smile for once, huh?
Nothing makes me happier than being even. The good news came through the wireless. Looks like you paid my debt to Jesse. I guess that means I owe you now, right? Tell you what, I'm a little short on bits at the moment, but I'm a decent scrapper and a better than average sawbones. If you're looking for a medic, I can work my debt off.
मेडिक है ये.
If I'm being honest, and I prefer not to, I was about ready to pick up another contract anyway, and you settled this in a pretty tidy fashion, which tells me you're competent. But we can say I'm repaying the favor if you prefer that version.
ओ ये क्रू में आएगी क्या अपने? बढ़िया है. ब्लू आइज.
She helped me win a bet. We were on a smuggling run planetside when our point man bet me I couldn't outrun a mantisaur. And as you can probably guess, the thing was faster than it looked.
अरे यार
Probably
कॉल आ
would've
रही है
caught me
भाई.
if
कॉल ही
Jesse
कॉल
hadn't
आते
picked it
रहती हैं.
off.
एक मिनट ज़रा. चलो भाई.
Yeah, but the important thing is I won the bet. It's like people touching a cookie and leaving it in the box. It's just one of those things that gets under my skin. You won't be sorry. Though it looks like you've got a full roster already. Time to play favorites, Captain.
ओ पार्वती को भेज देता हूँ ना. पार्वती का कुछ काम ही नहीं है.
Dr. Fenhill, glad you opted to join us. It'll be good to have a Sawbones on the crew.
Ellie. हो गया ना इसका. ये कौन सा रहा? ग्लैडिस. ग्लैडिस वाला तो अभी नहीं कर सकता ना मैं. उसके लिए वो चाहिए मेरे को 10,000 बिट्स. ये क्या है? स्पीक विद लिलिया हेगन. ये कहाँ है? ग्लैडिस क्यों दिखा रहा है अभी तक? अच्छा इसके लिए मेरे को वो चाहिए, नैव की चाहिए, ठीक है। ये भी बाद में वो करेंगे। लोकेट सिक्योरिटी टर्मिनल, ये भी एक्सेस नहीं था इसके लिए, ये करता हूँ। भाई यहाँ पे FPS बहुत कम आ रहे हैं इसके अंदर।
CNP near maple syrup. It's near this complete breakfast.
Hey, McRed, were you expecting any company?
A neighbor from above approaches our realm.
ये मारेंगे तो नहीं? आउटलॉ भाई मारेंगे ये तो। गेम्स बाय करते हो या क्रैक डाउनलोड करते हो? देखो मेरा सीन ऐसा है कि मेरे पास ना गेम्स पहले से ही बहुत सारी पड़ी हुई हैं, तो मैं धीरे धीरे करके उनको कंप्लीट कर रहा हूँ पहले। तो जब मेरी कलेक्शन ख़त्म हो जाएगी ना गेम्स की, तो मैं ख़रीदूँगा तो नहीं आगे, बाकी आगे आगे जा जाके अगर फ्री में कहीं कहीं से मिलते रहेंगी तो वो मेरी लाइब्रेरी में तो आते रहेंगी, वरना मैं दूसरों से अकाउंट मांग लेता हूँ मेरे दोस्तों से खेलने के लिए। तो यही सीन है। और बाकी क्रैक का तो मुश्किल से ही करता हूँगा मैं वो, कभी कभार। जैसे कभी कोई गेम मेरे को खेलनी है पर मेरे को कहीं से मिल नहीं रही तो कर ली, ऐसे मतलब ये सीन है मेरा। अब जैसे ये गेम खेल रहा हूँ ये भी फ्री में मिली थी, एपिक गेम से मिली थी ये फ्री में, तो इसलिए इसके रिव्यूज़ भी अच्छे थे इसलिए मैं खेल रहा हूँ। चलो यार इनको मारना पड़ेगा शायद, बात करके देखूँ पहले। मारा हुआ था नहीं?
Look at this
नहीं मार रहा
red
शायद।
piece of meat just sizzling on the grill. Yum yum. Time to feed the flames. It's nothing personal. Promise.
Burning to death is one of the most painful ways
ये
to
सही आ
go.
गई भाई एली,
Just in case you needed a
एक
reason to
पार्वती
get
एक
us out
एली।
of this.
Speaking for myself, Captain, I am not of a mind to be murdered by a psychopath who plays with fire.
You came with the crew. Welcome. We got plenty of space to spread out, but only room for one captain.
Persuade 40. Put that down before you incinerate the entire deck. You are only getting out of this alive. You play nice. I was just exploring the ship.
You stumbled into my court without an invitation, neighbor from above. If you don't have any business, then it's time to light up the grill. No one turns their back on me while I'm holding
अरे भाई
court.
ये मारेगा ही।
Get 'em, boys!
बहुत बढ़िया भाई, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया। एक मिनट, मैं भी पीसी बिल्ड करवा रहा। अच्छा नेक्स्ट वीक से मैं भी स्ट्रीम करूँगा। बढ़िया है भाई, बढ़िया है। क्या पीसी मतलब हाई स्पेक्स वाला बनवा रहे हो या मिड स्पेक्स? क्योंकि आजकल तो मेरे ख्याल से हाई स्पेक्स ही ठीक है, गेम ही ऐसी ऐसी आ रही हैं भाई सब भयंकर। अरे भाई ये क्या ही चला रहा है भाई ये, मरा गया।
I've had quite enough of you.
ओ बेटे, फिर भी नहीं मरा। अबे क्या शॉटगन है ये? चलो मरा तो। भाई मार मार मार, मर गया मैं। अबे मेरे दोनों बंदे टपक गए। अबे यार
I think I heard something.
Did I hear something?
मर गया भाई, मर गया। अबे और हैं 4070 Ti i7 14 जन। अरे अरे ये तो बढ़िया है भाई, बढ़िया बढ़िया है। मेरे दोस्त ने भी 4070 Ti वाला ही स्पेक्स बनवाया था अभी अभी। कार्ड ही कार्ड उसको 1 लाख का पड़ गया। हाँ इसलिए हाई स्पेक्स बढ़िया है। अब तो FPS मैटर करते हैं बस। हाँ वॉरजोन CS वैलो EFT फोर्टनाइट एपेक्स। अरे भाई अच्छा मतलब मल्टीप्लेयर गेम वाले हो तुम बंदे हैं। मैं भी पहले ये सब खेलता था वॉरजोन वगैरह, वॉरजोन CS एपेक्स, पर अब तो भाई सब बंद हो गया। टाइम मिलता है तो वैलो खेलता हूँ बस। भाई मर गया मैं। चल ऊपर आ जा। हाँ भाई आप तो वैरायटी स्ट्रीमर हो। हाँ भाई 1 मिनट आया मैं ज़रा। 4070 Ti मुझे 67K का मिला। 67K में मिल गया, बहुत सस्ता मिल गया फिर तो। मेरे दोस्त ने तो 1 लाख के आसपास का ख़रीदा था, और वो भी स्ट्रीम ही करता है। और वैरायटी स्ट्रीमर की बात रही तो मेरा यही सीन है कि मैं ना मल्टीप्लेयर गेम्स ना पहले बहुत खेलता था। कोरोना का टाइम जब आया था ना 2-3 साल तक मल्टीप्लेयर्स मैंने गेम इतनी सारी खेली हैं कि खेल खेल के मैं बोर हो गया। तो मैं पहले से भी मतलब स्टोरी मोड टाइप गेम खेलता हुआ आ रहा हूँ तो मुझे अच्छी लगती हैं। तो मैंने मतलब स्टोरी मोड गेम मैं अब भी खेलता, पर मैंने सोचा अगर मैं ऑफ स्ट्रीम खेल ही रहा हूँ स्टोरी मोड गेम तो क्यों ना स्ट्रीम कर लूँ। कम से कम वीडियो तो रहेगी मेरे चैनल पे कि हाँ भाई मैंने ये खेला है। वरना पहले भी मैं बहुत खेल चुका हूँ गेम्स स्टोरी मोड वाली। और मल्टीप्लेयर में इतनी ज़्यादा टॉक्सिसिटी होती है ना कि मुझे कभी कभार ही खेलता हूँ, वो भी दोस्तों के साथ। बाकी तो चिल मारने के लिए अपनी यही गेम चलती हैं। इनोड पे सेल चल रही थी न्यू ईयर की। ओह ऐसा क्या? सही में सही रेट में मिल गया फिर तो। मेरे दोस्त के साथ तो स्कैम हो गया, बताना पड़ेगा उसको। यार मैं तो ग्रुप बनाने या ज्वाइन करने की सोच रहा जिसमें स्ट्रीमर्स हों और मल्टीप्लेयर खेल और स्ट्रीम कर सके साथ में। अच्छा हाँ, तो जब अपनी स्ट्रीमिंग स्टार्ट करोगे ना, जब लाइव स्ट्रीम करते हैं लोग तो उनका ग्रुप बन ही जाता है धीरे धीरे करके। बस अपनी कम्युनिटी जो बनाओगे उसको एक्टिव रखना। जैसे मेरा दोस्त है वो स्ट्रीम करता है डेली, टेकन 7 की स्ट्रीम करता है। पहले वो भी वैलोरेंट वगैरह खेलता था, वैलोरेंट हो गई, पबजी हो गई, वॉरजोन हो गई, एपेक्स, सब खेलता था। पर उसने फिर सोचा कि टेकन 7 इंडिया में कोई स्ट्रीम नहीं करता, तो उसने क्या करा, टेकन 7 खेलनी शुरू करी। और अब उसकी कम्युनिटी इतनी तगड़ी हो गई ना टेकन 7 की कि भाई डेली डेली उसको पहले कितनी वॉचिंग आती थी, 4-5 की वॉचिंग आती थी, अब उसको 30-40 की वॉचिंग आती है भाई। तो मतलब कम्युनिटी ऐसी बनाओ कि जो एक्टिव रहे। फिर जब कम्युनिटी बनती है तो खेलने वाले भी मिल जाते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा। अरे वो तो सब्सक्राइबर्स होते हैं जो देख के आते हैं, ऐसे चाहिए जो स्ट्रीम करें डेली। तो वो तो फिर तो वो बातचीत बढ़ानी पड़ेगी ना। वैसे जो सब्सक्राइबर्स भी होते हैं उनमें भी लोग स्ट्रीम ही करते हैं। जैसे अब सजल भाई के पास मैं जब आया था, कस्टम कर रहे थे मेरे ख्याल से वो, तो मैं ऐसे ही चिल मारने के लिए आ गया था कि चलो 1-2 मैच खेल लेता हूँ। तो ऐसे ही उनकी स्ट्रीम में मैं तब आ जाता हूँ जब मैं बोर हो रहा होता हूँ, वैलोरेंट खोल के 1-2 मैच खेल लेता हूँ, और क्या। यही है। हाँ मेरे पास है 4-5 स्ट्रीमर्स बस, और कितने चाहिए। अब ऐसे धीरे धीरे करके अगर ग्रुप गेम्स करोगे अपने अपने, तो ऐसे ही बढ़ते जाएंगे बढ़ते जाएंगे। एक स्ट्रीमर का दोस्त दूसरे स्ट्रीमर मिल जाएगा, उसका दोस्त एक और स्ट्रीमर मिल जाएगा, ऐसे ही बढ़ते जाते हैं। चलो भाई इनको मारो यार, मेरे को ना गन्ना अपग्रेड करनी पड़ेगी अपनी। ऐसा करता हूँ, ये हटाता हूँ, पिस्टल बहुत बेकार है ये। प्लाज्मा राइफल डाल लूँ, प्लाज्मा डाल लूँ यहाँ पे, इसको चंक में डाल देता हूँ, ब्रेक डाउन ही कर देता हूँ। और बस शायद ठीक ही है। ये चला के देखता हूँ। ओ भाई सही है भाई ये गन तो। ओ भाई मैंने प्लाज्मा गन चलाई तो इनकी बॉडी भी जल गई, हो दिखा भी रहे हैं, सही है यार। लूटो भाई लूटो। हंट डाउन एंड किल कैप्टन मैकरेड। अच्छा इसको मारना था मुझे। क्लेम द बाउंटीज रिवॉर्ड फ्रॉम सैनिटा। ठीक है, और कुछ है यहाँ पे? उनको बस वैलो ही आता है स्ट्रीम करना। जो 4-5 स्ट्रीमर्स हैं वो कंसिस्टेंट ही नहीं है। अच्छा कंसिस्टेंट तो वैसे मैं भी नहीं हूँ, क्योंकि मेरे कॉलेजेस चल रहे होते हैं तो क्लासेस व्लासेस की वजह से। अभी मेरे एग्ज़ाम भी चल रहे थे तो मैंने 1-2 हफ्ते के लिए स्ट्रीमिंग भी छोड़ दी थी, पर अब तो ख़त्म हो गया है तो वापस कंटिन्यू कर रहा हूँ। यार सजल भाई का सीन ये है कि उन पे लो एंड पीसी है, ओनली प्रोसेसर है उन पे। अच्छा, और उन पे पैसे रहते नहीं जिससे वो न्यू गेम बाय या साथ में खेल सकें। अच्छा ये सीन। कोई बात नहीं, उनके तो वैसे भी मोनेटाइजेशन ऑन है ना, स्ट्रीम करते रहेंगे तो कुछ ना कुछ बन ही जाएगा उनका। अबे ये क्या है ऊपर?
Are those hibernation pods? And I thought my bunk was small.
अबे ये तो वही जगह है जहाँ से गेम की स्टार्टिंग में उसने हमको निकाला था, पिनियस वेलिस ने। प्लाज्मा राइफल ले लो भाई। यहाँ तो नहीं है रास्ता भाई, इधर तो नहीं है कहीं। अबे अबे पीछे से भी आ गए। मर गया क्या? मर तो गया। ये कौन खड़ा अंदर? अरे भाई लो। Yeah. अरे अच्छा चलो भाई। कुछ नहीं छोड़ना।
think you're doing?
अबे मुझे लगा ये ऐसी खड़ी हुई है. Lie, nothing at all. Whatever I want, I was just leaving.
Do what you want, I guess.
चल यार अब नहीं चुरा रहा मैं. बात कर लेता हूँ. Ground breaker reputation decreased. अबे
Haven't seen any new faces down here since I
ये
arrived.
गोली ना मारे बस मेरे को ऊपर
Not
जाके.
sure how long ago that was. McRed tends to incinerate anyone who comes by.
McRed's dead.
It's too bad. I mean, he was a scary fucker, total pyromaniac, but you know how it is. You meet a guy, get used to his quirks, and then blam. I'll get back to my post. See you topside, stranger.
अरे भग गई. भग गई तो चुरा लूँ ना, कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं. मैं कैसे जाऊँ पर? ऊपर जाना है मुझे. यहाँ से भी रास्ता नहीं था. या है? अच्छा है तो. असॉल्ट राइफल. भाई शॉटगन को फेंको, असॉल्ट राइफल इक्विप करो भाई. कहाँ गई असॉल्ट राइफल? शॉटगन को हटाओ बस. ये तो नहीं उठा रहा मैं भाई, भारी हो जाऊंगा. जूनियर मिकोलॉजिस्ट लॉग. पता नहीं क्या होता है. अरे भाई मारेगा मुझे.
Unexpected noise.
अरे ये क्या हो रहा है? कुछ तो सीन है भाई. कुछ एक्टिवेट कर दिया क्या मैंने? अच्छा मुझे इधर जाना है ना. अबे पर इधर कैसे जाऊं? यहाँ तो यहाँ से रास्ता नहीं है. यहाँ से होगा. इस सीढ़ी से है.
I'll keep it down.
Fantastic, we got them. Now we can move on to cleaner pastures.
चलो भाई चलो. टॉक टू जुनली. अरे यार आया भाई, मैं गेट खोल के. Whew.
Smells like burning meat and bad hygiene.
This is Halcyon News.
You've returned, and in one piece. Color me impressed. Good work. I'll take those. I need you to head through the large door at the far end of engineering. Take the elevator down into the machinery shaft. There's a terminal in the back. Activate it when I call over the ship's PA. And bring weapons. There's a slight mantipillar infestation. More than a few. Less than a hive. Nothing you can't handle. We were salvaging parts from a ship. Turned out there were eggs inside. They got into the radiators, and here we are. If every repair was a one-woman job, I wouldn't need an engineering team. As it is, my staff is busy keeping the station from melting down. You can flip a switch for me, but you can't install these parts. Not quickly, at least. Not on the first try. Able though you've proven to be.
वहाँ जाना है, रिपेयर करने जाना है.
Something on your mind? I'm a surgeon by training and a pirate by inclination. Not much else to know, Captain. I like long walks on the promenade and the smell of Spacer's Corona. I make a mean zero-G cocktail and I've got a meaner right hook.
अरे भाई फिर से फोन आया है. 1 मिनट जरा.
It's a mix of whatever you've got on hand. Usually zero-G brew with some Spectrum vodka if you're lucky. Purple berry shake if you're not. Exactly. That's what makes them fun. Out on the edge of the Aether, we learn to make do with what we've got. No room for fancy predilections. Sure do. Some of it was even legal. There's a lot of business that goes through the Groundbreaker. Some of it's board-authorized freight hauling, and some of it's not. I've done all types of work with all kinds of crews. If there's one thing you ought to know about me, it's that I won't tell you your business. Your ship, your way. Not at all. I chose this life to make bits, not waves. Though if I can offer another perspective, piracy's just trade the corporations don't have a hand in. And I meant it. I was only making small talk just now, but I can take a hint.
हैं? कि बाहर तोड़ना था वो?
Well, my blood type is AB positive. I'm a Leo, and I despise Space Hospital. Never mind what anyone else tries to tell you. That about covers it. Oh, come on. That stuff's boring.
रख दो, नीचे रख दो. ये तो खत्म भी हो गया. डुग्गू ही ले लाया था डैडी.
Look, the thing I've learned about living in close quarters is that you've got to give people room to breathe. I'm all for making a few bits together and having fun doing it, but let's keep a little professional distance. Well, my blood type is AB positive. I'm a Leo, and I despise that about... Shall we get back? No complaints here.
पहुंच गए नीचे. अरे बहुत बढ़िया. कौन सा चला रहा है? ये सही है यार कंपेनियन. कुछ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं.
Diagnostic says their circuit boards are fused from the heat, so they're not too picky about who they kill next. Sneak past if you can. Shoot back if you need to. I can always fix them later.
This is performing.
अबे ये कर रही है.
I'll take care of them.
Searching for unauthorized persons.
कहाँ जाना है? नीचे ही जाना है. नीचे जाऊं कैसे? अच्छा यहाँ से.
Security patrol initiated.
इसमें क्या है? यहाँ पे मैं आया था क्या? आया था शायद यहाँ पे.
Stop by once you found your way out of there. Groundbreaker owes you thanks.
रिटर्न टू जुनली। चलो भाई अब गर्मी खत्म। हाँ वो हो गया ना ठीक। अब वो हीट नहीं दिख रही, पहले दिख रही थी स्क्रीन पे।
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. Reports from concerned supervisors indicate that
My boards are returning to green. What a weight that is off my shoulders. I don't normally tolerate outsiders mucking about in my station's guts, but you're all right. The temperature should be dropping as we speak. I'll see to it the crew knows who kept us all from boiling alive. If you've got time, I believe Edna has a comms issue that could use your attention. I've also authorized Doc and Furu to sell you our premium meds.
प्रीमियम मेड्स 3000 बिट दिए क्या इसने मेरे को? भाई आर्मर की तो हालत ख़राब है। दूसरा चढ़ा देता हूँ, इसको फेंक दो।
If you're here for this week's magazine, want a charming cop?
लेना क्या था इससे पर? एक्वायर फीनियस साइंस वेपन। अच्छा उसकी ऑर्बिटल लैब में है ये। एक्वायर द साइंस वेपन ग्राउंड ब्रेकर।
It's almost time. I found it.
क्वेस्ट ये होगा शायद। ये भी ले लेता हूँ।
is Halcyon News. Interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisements for the following story. Some townships have asked Halcyon News to make a statement.
Rizzo's Purpleberry Punch. You want a punch? You got your punch right here.
अबे ये कहाँ पे आ गया मैं? एक ग्राउंड ब्रेकर वेपन।
Rizzo's Spectrum Vodka. I want to taste the ring.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. And now for a special word from Chairman Rockwell.
Greetings, hard-working citizens of Halcyon. In these profitable times, we need only look to one
What was that? I could have sworn. Oh well. What was that? Huh? Guess it was nothing.
It breaks my heart to see the fruits of your labor stolen by these vagabonds. One such man is Phineas Wells. The board unanimously decided that in the interests of protecting our best...
I don't have time for this.
I've got a lovely little throw pillow. Just something I toss together. Like to keep my hands busy.
भाई मैं आया भाई वॉशरूम से, बड़ी तेज लगी है।